I didn't get on any public transport for about 3 years. My anxiety was just that bad. Hi, my name's Mark and I'm a music producer, songwriter. The reason why I got into production was about 10 years ago. I read the book Wouldn't It Be Nice, which is all about the creation of the Pet Sounds album by the Beach Boys, and it goes into great detail. Like, it's super nerdy, that book, and I just loved it. I'd never been interested in music production at that point. I was always interested in writing and playing, but at that point I had such bad anxiety I couldn't play. So when I realized that there was this whole world of production, I was like, hey, I could still be involved in music and not have to go on stage and play it at the end of the day. I didn't get on any public transport for about 3 years. I didn't go to the cinema. I avoided gigs like the plague. I didn't even like going to college at that point. Like, I hated the fact that we were in a small enclosed room. My anxiety was just that bad. Like, my whole life up to that point, I'd always wanted to be a touring musician. That was my focus, was to be out on the road and playing anything. Like, I learned guitar, synth, drums, bass, because I just wanted to play anything. I just wanted to be in a band and play. And now all of a sudden all this anxiety just like swept over me, and yeah, I didn't get in a taxi for about 5 years. So before I was a producer, I was an engineer. You know, I set up all the cables, ran all the mics, like did the drums, did the amps, and then I'd sit back and someone else would actually hit record. Like, the producer would then take over the session. And it wasn't until I realized that the sessions I was running myself, I was doing the production work for. Like, a producer came in and was like, hey man, why are you calling yourself an engineer when you're doing so much production work? And I was like, I didn't realize I was doing production work. When I'm producing, like, it's a weird sense of pride. Like, you know, you're taking this song from its demo stages all the way through to its final stages. It's a cool sense of pride once a song's finished. A band that I worked with, 100 Fables, had a full summer of festivals lined up, and their guitarist became super ill. But I wrote the songs with 100 Fables, so I said, hey, like, I know all the guitar parts, why don't I just come out on the road with you? And I didn't really think it through, and I remember the first night just going, shit, like, tomorrow we travel all the way to the Isle of Wight in a van, and that's like a 7-hour journey, and I didn't sleep a wink, like, not at all. I was pretty anxious all night, but then, like, you know, we drove, we got to the festival, there was no panics. There was moments of panic in my head, but there wasn't any real issue with Fables. And then, you know, the next day we got to perform at the Isle of Wight festival, and like, there must have been like 500 to 1,000 people at our stage, and it was incredible. And I think, like, if any other gig had been like the starting point, I probably wouldn't have done it, but like, you can't turn down opportunities like that. You know, bands play for a lifetime and don't get opportunities to play those sort of festivals. So my advice for anyone in the music industry that suffers from anxiety is go for it. Because yeah, at the end of the day, like, the first time I stepped back on stage, I was freaking out. But then I realized that, like, you know, it's only half an hour. And sometimes I still freak out and there isn't much I can do about it, but it is only half an hour of like dread and terror, and then it's over. Like, everyone in that room is nervous and anxious and like weirded out by different things. You know, yours are maybe just a wee bit more worn on your sleeve than theirs, but I wouldn't really let that ruin what you want to do. So if you want to pick up a guitar or play piano or sing, just do it. The worst that can happen is you can get in your own head and freak out for half an hour, but then you're off stage and you can go get a sandwich and it's all fine.